Recording in progress.
Hello? All right. Can everyone hear me? Okay. I'm really just so grateful that Tracy and the committee thought of me for paying attention. And I'll be really honest, when Tracy said, I thought, gosh, that's a big assignment to talk about paying attention. I don't know if I'm up for it. But it was such an interesting journey to reflect on what does it mean to pay attention and why does it matter? And it matters because we're human, right? And through this journey of preparation, I thought, what does it mean to be human? And I don't have any answers for you, but the question itself, it made me experience the past couple months in a different way. So I'm not going to tell you so much what to pay attention to, but I want you to reflect on where you're paying attention from. And so in my journey, poetry, I look back in my life, I think it's probably something I've always been interested in, paying attention through poetry, through the arts, through education, meditation, connecting with people. And I think back to people who have really graced me with their presence. There's many people in this room. That's love. That's prayer, right? To give your attention fully to someone. And it's really what happens when I make art. So what I'm going to have us do is maybe something
Lora,
different.
can you put the mic closer to your mouth?
Okay.
Okay,
I was like,
yes, whoa.
Where is that coming? Okay.
That's one of our Zoomers. Yes. Thank you, Jeannie.
Okay. Closer to my mouth? Okay.
Yep. Okay, good. We can maybe turn the volume up for you a little too.
Okay, Jeannie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with a settle in. And I'm going to have you just make any adjustments that you need to. Get any wiggles. If you have any wiggles, get them out. And I invite you to close your eyes, and if that feels uncomfortable, just soften them. You can soften your eyes, your eyelids. And I invite you to have both feet flat on the floor to connect to earth. And notice when you connect your feet to the floor, you can actually sense the earth. You're that sensitive. And on the inhale, through the soles of your feet, notice how the earth supports you. And give yourself permission just to be fully present in this room. Softening your body, your face. Feeling safe, receptive, and open. Thoughts will pass through your mind, it's okay. Notice we don't have to pay attention to every single thought. Just go back to your breath. Feel your shoulders start to relax. Your face, your neck, your shoulders. Take a couple more breaths in this deep relaxation. And then I will have you very gently, peacefully open your eyes. And just notice, look around the room. It may look a little bit different. Or you may feel different. So imagine living your life from that deeper awareness. And the best way to do that is through that breath awareness. I'm going to talk about 3 different parts of my art journey and the process. Early on, I went back back to Korea. I'm originally from Korea. I returned there, and there were a lot of challenges being back in Korea. And I don't know if any of you have ever had a period in your life where I felt very stuck, and I wasn't finding a lot of joy. And I don't know what it was, but something just said, take photos. I don't know where that voice came from. And I wasn't sure it would change anything, but I was willing to try. And photo by photo, I started to realize how beautiful the world was. And then at some point I realized it wasn't the world, it was me projecting that out onto the world. And so the deeper you go into the awareness of who you are inherently beautiful. Each and every one of you. But we seek it in places outside of ourselves instead of that deep awareness and connection. And if you follow that deep within, you are whole, you are complete. And the people that tell you you are lacking, they have an agenda, right? But through this art journey and awareness, you start to realize you are already complete. And to live from that wholeness and fullness is the greatest gift that you can give to the world, is just to be fully you, in your richness, your diversity. So this photo is, right, something that maybe we don't, spend a lot of time looking at, but just the nuances, the subtleties, the shadows, and taking the time to look at the world around us from that complexity. I would like you to contemplate thinking about artwork in maybe a different way, and thinking about how it's made is what it means. And to really honor the piece of artwork for its own sake. And so when I made this piece, in my experience, the piece tells me what it wants to do. And if you think about nature, nature is the same way, right? I don't think a tulip thinks, gosh, I wish I were a rose, right? It's its own thing, and when we look at that flower, really honoring what it is. So in my art process, it is very receptive. And so this piece, they're all little stitches. And I could have glued certain parts, but right, that stitch is a very deep connection. And so that art piece gives me a lot of information just from me paying attention. And after I made this piece, I realized they're like scars, the threads. So I intuitively, right, when I listened to what the piece wanted to be, it wanted that scarring. And it helped me think about, human scars that we all have. And I think sometimes we're embarrassed by them, we think they're ugly. But if you really think about it, it's where something healed, right? And so through art, there was a lot of healing, maybe things I didn't even know needed to be healing, but through the art process, was able to heal those. This piece too, a lot of people, and I understand, it's monochromatic, the one color, it's very subtle. But when I really listen to those pieces, it needs to be that way. And again, I could have glued each piece, but if they're all sewn, even if the viewer doesn't see that, I feel on some level, if you're sensitive, you feel that. And again, that's a different type of connection, right, than just gluing on. It's to sew each one. It's a deeper connection. Okay, I'm gonna lead you through another meditation, okay? I'm gonna have you again close your eyes. Again, your body will remember what we did last time. Take a moment. Just settle. And oftentimes when we pay attention, we listen with just our ears. And this next meditation may seem a little bit different, but I encourage you just to go with it. And it's to imagine your whole body as an ear. Humans are so amazing with our imagination. And notice when you experience your whole body as an ear, you're hearing my voice, you're hearing other things in a completely different way. Imagine if you listen to the people in your life in that way. You're not just going to hear what they're saying, you're going to feel what they're feeling, you're going to notice different aspects of who they are. And then contrast is an excellent teacher. Just go back to listening with just your ears and notice that difference. Anyone want to share what they noticed, the difference? Imagine yourself as an ear, just listening with your ears. Sylvia?
I got tingly all over.
Mm-hmm.
When I was listening full body, I didn't hear the rain on the windows. I was only hearing Lora. I heard the vent a little bit. But as soon as I turned that full body off, I could hear but I didn't notice that before.
People out there, if you want to repeat what the people here said, sort of, or,
So for
Oh,
Zoomers,
for Zoomers.
virtual folks.
She's like, yeah, you can say it.
I just noticed other noises, like there's a little bit of window tapping sounds going on. And when I was full body ear, I guess we could call it, I was much more centralized to the room. And when I shut that off, I could hear the tapping. And what did you, I'll bring this to you.
I just got tingly all over when I went to the whole body ear.
Back here? Anybody else? Any Zoomers? Yeah, are you saying yeah? Oh, yeah, she is. I know, I couldn't tell, and the look on your face was saying no, and you were saying yeah.
I had to put my thoughts together. No, I felt like I was actually in like a soundproof room. Like you got your four-cornered walls, and it's all like padded and everything, and then you can hear everything that, like every little thing or like little scratch or like little scuff, you could hear it, but then you not only hear it, then you feel it in your body, and then you hear it again. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so thinking. Hello? Okay. Yeah, so thinking about where we pay attention from. So using your imagination in that way and trying to throughout your day and noticing what you experience. All right. I'm going to talk about this piece just a little bit more. Is about my process. So oftentimes I'll use one shape, and I thought it was so fitting. I thought about it really early in the morning and how appropriate at Open Circle is oftentimes using, it's one of my favorite shapes, is using one shape but then showing different aspects of it. And there's something about that celebration of a simple shape, but also the diversity. And I thought it was very fitting that in Open Circle, bringing this piece. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'm going to lead you through another short little experience. Okay? Yep, settle in, make any adjustments. Oftentimes, right, we extend our attention outwards. And we know what that is like. We experience that. But I'd like you to do the opposite. And the way that I imagine this is that my awareness and my attention is like a spotlight, and I can extend it out, right, to this room. But I would like you to turn it back on yourself. And notice what that feels like when your attention is so valuable and precious. And oftentimes, right, we extend it out. But how often do we turn it back on ourselves and taking that moment to notice what that feels like? And breathe in and out. Putting that awareness back on you. I'm going to have you take a few more deep breaths. Then I'm going to have you feel that you're sitting in your chair, bringing that awareness back to this room, back to your chair. And gently, peacefully open your eyes when you're ready. Again, just taking a moment to look around and taking a moment to notice how you feel. Can I get 3 other people to share what they noticed or experienced when they put that attention right back to yourself? Marge?
I notice that when I'm paying attention to myself, I can feel my heartbeat. And then one thing that I do when I do meditation is I feel what each of my fingers separately feel like. So I can isolate the feeling that the left little finger is feeling, and I go through my hands and my feet, and but every time I would exhale, I could just feel my heartbeat. You know, it was like it was louder than usual because I was tuned into it. So.
It was an experience that I've not had consciously before. And I feel like, Zoe, I need to get my thoughts together because it was a real trip. This morning has been very poignant for me. And what I realized was that I have tears. Songs this morning have done that to me. The poem did, Mary Oliver. And that has, I don't have words, but what an experience.
Right, to experience how full, rich, precious you are just by being you. Steve,
I knew it. I can do this. See, she can do this to him, you guys.
That's ridiculous. I was not going to talk here, but I thought it was really interesting that when you said to bring your awareness back to you being seated, like I didn't even feel like I was sitting, like I didn't even feel the chair, and I thought that was really interesting.
I don't know. But something moved you. Anyone else want to share? I love questions, and so I don't know if you guys normally do this, but I would like to just reserve a little bit of time at the end if anyone has any questions. Anyone have any questions? Yeah, I talked about that photography. So there's a style of photography. Every once in a while I'll do like a workshop on a class. It's contemplative photography. And it's really, it's a more mindful way of being and approaching the world. And I discovered that when I was in Korea. And like I said, I was going through that hard time, and I was looking for a way, not out of that experience, but through it. And I was so fortunate that there was this little voice or nudge that said, just start taking photos. And one photo at a time really saved me because I could manage. Like, the world just felt very heavy at that point in my life. But I'm like, I can manage one frame at a time. And I didn't think it would change me, and I was really kind of negative about Korea at that time. I was like, oh, there's nothing beautiful or good about Korea. And then, like, photo by photo, I could see it. And I was like, oh, there's so much beauty here, but I just missed it. And so there's something about that frame of photography. And even for me, art, it's stitch by stitch that helps me be present. And, right, paying attention is like a specific thing, and it's a focus, but it will lead you to awareness, which is receptive and expansive, which is really the truth of who you are. But oftentimes we act from this part. I'm gonna leave you with a dream I had, which I think it was really a transcendent dream. It was really a gift. And in the dream, I was in our house, and all of a sudden, somehow, you know how dreams are kind of weird like that? All of a sudden, I stumbled into the middle of our house, and there was this room that was 10 times larger than my physical house in the middle. And even in the dream, I was like, whoa, how did this room exist? And it's larger than the physical house. But when I woke up, I thought, yes, there is like a deeper truth. It's really who we are. We have this physical body, right? And we are equally expansive, whole. We are already complete. And I would encourage and invite you to live, think, speak, act from that place. And then just notice what starts to happen just by you being you. In my experience, it has deepened my relationships and given me a sense of wonder and connectedness. Thank you.